1, 2, 3 dong. 1,
Well,
2.
I also have to
say
do
hi
this.
everyone. Okay, 1.
I also have to do.
Hi everyone! Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today is Couple Confidential. So, honey, what are we gonna talk about today?
Today we're going to talk about tips on interracial marriages.
What does that mean?
It means when two people from two different races or ethnic backgrounds are getting married.
Are you referring to us?
Yes.
Yes, it's us. So we are we are interracially different. Yeah. No, we are whatever. Okay. So, what are we going to talk about specifically? Today we are going to give out some tips about how to survive an interracial marriage, because for those who don't know, I'm from Indonesia, he's from Pakistan, and I've been receiving a lot of questions from you guys asking about how does it work, how is the process, how to get there, how to get married when you are dating someone non-Indonesian. So I think it's going to be an interesting topic. It's a rather serious topic this time. And we have like 6 things you have to watch out when you want to get married to someone from a different race or a different culture or a different country.
Yes.
So what's number 1? Number 1.
Listen to your parents.
Ah, yes. Why?
Why? Because you have to first of all make sure that they are well informed and you get their blessings and you talk to them about what is so different about this person who is not a Pakistani.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you see what they have to say, you hear their feedback, and then you try to work your way around it.
So did you listen to your parents?
No.
So, should we tell?
Yeah.
Well, so okay, so when we were dating, my parents were totally fine with the fact that he's Pakistani, blah blah blah, but they were fine of me dating him when it was going to a more serious level, aka marriage. Then they were a bit like, you know. The thing is, maybe like back then in 2010-ish, 2009-ish, there were not that many interracial couples, especially in Indonesia. So for my parents, it was something like very new. So they're like, why do you need to marry a non-Indonesian kind of thing? It took process for me to convince my parents to finally accept him, because even though like we have the same religion, we both Muslims, the fact that someone is just not from your country just matters so much, at least for my parents. So my job back then was to just always listen out to what they say, but at the same time also try to slowly penetrate my boyfriend into my parents' lives to make them comfortable and understand why I choose him compared to other Indonesian guys. But within that process, it took like 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Like we dated for 5 years. It took like 5 years for me to convince my parents to finally accept him. But within those 5 years, I was not like rebellious or anything. Like I always listened to them, but I always just said that, Mom, if we are not meant to be, I'm totally fine if we're like separated. But the fact is, we just never broke up. So I kind of just felt like that was like Allah's sign, like he's that, yeah, you know, that guy is your soulmate. So I think eventually after 5 years, my parents kind of felt the same thing. They're like, okay, and now they love him so much. What's your side of story? What about your parents?
So I remember very clearly, I had to somewhat like do a business pitch, you know, like those elevator pitch to my mom about why Diana and you know, what's so different and how come I'm talking about someone who's completely foreigner. Indonesia is not really that famous in Pakistan to some degree. So there was a lot of questions about it, but my parents, they've always been very supportive And they were like, okay, we hear you, but you know, the process is the process. So in Pakistan, the process is that you tell your parents who you like or who you don't like. Well, that's as far as what I followed.
Okay.
And then you give confidence to your parents to do that thing. So they came down here to Jakarta and they get to meet Diana, her parents, they see the background, the family, they talk to the parents, and they did all those kind of checking procedures how they would have done in Pakistan itself. And my mom finally agreed, okay, she's a good girl, she belongs to a, you know, a good family, all those background checks. And then after that, it was all about saya terima tunai something.
Saya terima uang tunai. Okay. Yeah,
So that was it.
Yeah, that was it. But the point is to listen to your parents. Whatever the process is, don't be like you hate them, like, oh, I hate my parents, they don't understand. Like, just don't have that kind of attitude, because like parents are parents. So like, just give them time to accept and understand. Yeah.
And we would do the same now that we have a kid.
So Shamir is now, his nationality is Indonesian. So I always tell him like, marry an Indonesian.
And Pakistani.
Yeah.
Until 18 years old.
Until 18 years. But anyways, that's like still 18 years ahead.
I think it should be a Pakistani.
Oh, whatever. Okay. Tip number 2. Be sure you're marrying for the right reasons.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Very important.
Yeah, because like, you know, I'm just gonna tell you that it's not easy, interracial marriage. So just make sure that you're really marrying that person for a very, very right reason, and you're like really sure about your decision. Because if not, if you know, like, some people go as shallow, like, I want to have like a bule husband because it looks cool. No, never, ever, 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 ever. Because marriage is a serious deal.
I want like handsome kids, I want like beautiful girls, and I'm marrying American, something like that.
But don't do that, because that's not the point of marriage. And yeah, just make sure you're marrying for the right reasons. Don't you think so?
I think it's a lot more important. I mean, let's say if it was just about a marriage within a Pakistani or from within Indonesian to Indonesian, of course every marriages you have sacrifices and you make changes and everything. But when it comes to interracial marriages, the level of change and sacrifice and adjustment is at a completely different level, I would say. Not that I married someone from my race, so I have experience on that, but you know, coming in terms of what I hear from other people and everything. So there's a lot at stake, you know, the background, the families coming from 2 very different countries and everything. So really think, you know, you really want to go for it.
Yeah. Because if you're not really certain of your decision, there's like so many things that can make you just be like, you know what, I'm gonna give up, or like, you know, like break up kind of thing. Because the level of seriousness of things that are involved are like super, super serious. So like when he moved into Jakarta, he was like so stressed. Because for him, he's never been in a country with such severe traffic jam. The fact that you have to travel 2 hours one way, 4 hours in total and stuff like that.
Every day.
Every day. See, he still talks about it like negatively, right?
Still.
Yeah, because for us, we are born to that kind of situation. So like traffic jam, we're like, yeah, it's traffic jam. But for people who are not used to it, it really makes them stressed. Like psychologically, mentally, it's very exhausting for them. So that they get really stressed. So imagine if he wasn't marrying me for the right reasons. He would be like, you know what, forget this. I'm gonna move out. So because he married me for the right reasons, and he's just like slowly learning and adapting, and you know.
Yeah, adapting.
Yeah, adapting continuously. Anything else?
Done.
Done. Number 3.
Understanding each other's culture. I think that's crucial.
Understanding and respecting each other's culture.
Yeah, it's crucial.
It's crucial. When you're marrying someone within your own nationality, be it like, actually like these kind of problems also exist when a Javanese marries a Sundanese or a Minang or, you know, Batak. I mean, the differences between those cultures are already different. But then when it's involving like 2 totally different countries, the complexity is like crazy. Like Indonesia and Pakistani culture are like so
Worlds
different. different.
Literally
Yeah.
worlds apart.
So the key is to just understand and not be dumb about it. Like when you're dating an Indian guy or a Pakistani guy or like American, like really find out what their culture is like. Like do a lot of research, do a lot of reading. Like don't be like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Like you have to know because you're dating that guy, aren't you? So like you have to understand and then respect, because culture is culture. Culture is like deeply ingrained in yourself, and for the other person it really matters. So you have to really respect.
And I think the one best tip about respecting each other's culture is to do expectation management. Basically, you need to learn and understand and expect how this person will behave and react, and likewise for the family and everything. Because if you don't do that, the kind of cultural shock you get, it can create many complicated situations. So it's better to understand, align, communicate to each other. Okay, in my family, in my culture, this is how we do things. In my culture, wife needs to cook, wife needs to serve tea, things like that. So that's what I told her. Yeah. Okay.
Tip number 4.
You need to make serious efforts in integrating with your ethnically different in-laws.
Yes, because the thing is, us for example, like not to say we're international, but kind of like international, like we're not really into like culture. No, that was wrong. We're into culture, but we're also in another way, we have a very global mindset. So we are still cultural, but we're just a bit more modern.
Traditionally global.
Traditionally global or globally traditional. Now for our parents, it's a totally different thing. They're very still traditional. So the way I behave to him and the way I behave to his parents are totally different. So in front of his parents, I really have to like pay attention to these little customs and traditions and make sure that, they see that I know about these things. So I think, basically that's it.
Example?
How
do you behave in front of my parents?
Well, I got feedback from his mom. His mom said Pakistani women, they're kind of reserved like that. So like in the wedding, I was like, like laughing and hi, and like, I'm like, okay. So like basically in front of his mom, I'm a bit more like, no, I'm not like that. But
not in front of my mom.
Just not so crazy, just not so crazy. Just like normal, yeah.
Okay. How have I integrated with your parents?
I think he didn't have any problem. Well, the thing is, because my parents, they lived for so long in America, so they're also modern in some ways. So they're not really like into like you have to do this and that tradition and stuff. So him and my parents, you guys didn't have any problems. It was just like cool. And apparently my dad is like so close to Sergio, like they talk a lot about movies and photography and travel and career. So that's cool, but I appreciate Sergio's effort because he understands that not everyone in my family can speak English. So he learned Bahasa Indonesia and he can speak Bahasa Indonesia quite good as well.
Yeah.
So that's the way he integrated well with his in-laws. Whereas I'm still not so good at that.
No. I think she's not good in learning new languages.
New language.
Point
I'm
blank,
weak.
she sucks.
I suck.
When it comes to learning new languages.
But
I think more than 5 years, and you can only say 5 sentences. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
So
it's just too difficult for me.
But
Urdu
it's
is very difficult.
very important
Very
when
important.
it comes to integrating.
And then whenever his mom is like, "So Diana, what sentence have you learned today?"
Same sentences again and again.
And I tell her, "Or can I tasi hai?" It's like, didn't you just like say, yeah? Anyways, it's like always the same sentence.
Yeah.
Okay. Tip number 5.
Communicate between both the sides clearly to ensure that everybody is aligned with what the cultural expectations are and everything. And very, very important, when when that first phase of getting to know the family, meet the parents, or when you're talking about the wedding and everything is happening, it's very important.
Yeah, because parents are parents. They like to make fun of people and stuff. So like you just like as a daughter, I had to manage my parents' expectations a lot. Like mom, Sharjil's parents like this. They don't like this. Make sure you don't do this. Make sure you don't eat that. And like I had to like manage each other's expectations a lot. Like mom, if you're gonna bring out Sharjil's mom and dad, don't take them to Italian restos because his dad doesn't like Italian food. He only likes kebab. So we have to go to a Pakistani restaurant, and
I think
a lot of things like expectations.
I think like one good example is like we did really well when it comes to explaining to our parents even before, let's say, my parents flew to Indonesia on how the wedding is going to take place. What are the rituals and the practices both in Indonesia and then when we went to Pakistan, because like when we explain, let's say when she explained to my mom how her mom will dress up and everything, my mom said, okay, I'm going to also dress up the same way, with the Indonesian way, with the same style and makeup and everything. So if you communicate well with them, let them know what the cultural expectations are and everything like that, actually they will be more than happy to take part in it and make it more fun.
Yeah. So
like my parents, they wore Indonesian outfit at the nikah time. My dad was wearing.
Yeah, basically just manage expectations. Like when his mom and dad came here to Jakarta, I had to tell my mom and dad, like, mom, dad, don't be shocked because they wake up so late. Because in Pakistan, the tradition is to wake up at 10 or 11, which for us Indonesians were like, what, 10? So like when they came here, like my mom was like, udah bangun belum? Belum. Like, just like manage expectations, like, don't be weird about it, but just make it into something funny. Like, they're different,
Time, food difference, food eating time difference. Like for example,
timing is so different.
In Indonesia, it's not even 12 o'clock and it's like, yo, makan, and you're still kind of like full with breakfast.
If you woke up at 10.
But on the same time, I mean, in Pakistan, we kind of like take it a bit too easy, like around 2 o'clock-ish, we'll have lunch or around that kind of time, but we do eat heavy food. So it kind of explains that we need longer gaps.
Yeah, well, the point is to just manage expectations between both of our parents, okay? And the last tip, tip number 6.
Accept the language barrier. Very, very, very crucial. And like it or not, if you're doing this meet the parents between two families belonging to different races and everything, make sure you have some kind of like a translator standby. It's really helpful, and you can actually, the way to do is that both sides, they can learn a few words like hi, hello, how are you. You can teach them, so then they feel nice, so both sides will appreciate. And make sure that, let's say, when there are ceremonies happening or when two people are talking, it's okay if, let's say, from Indonesia some aunts are talking and my parents are sitting next to them, but then I have thought about it and I have arranged for someone to at least tell them what these people are talking about so they don't feel left out. It's very important. And especially when you're a foreigner in a host country, you'll feel weird, you'll feel lost, like so it's very important to ensure that at least they're aware of what is being talked about.
But even though if not, it's totally fine, like you just accept it. Like when I went to Pakistan, I met his big family, and like most of his aunts and uncles couldn't speak English, so they just kept talking to me in Urdu, and I just kept smiling. And like I didn't need to be upset or anything because I had to already, I expected that, they can't speak English, so just be nice, and it's okay, they'll just keep talking to me in Urdu and I'll just smile. So there's a language barrier, but slowly
you get used to it.
We get used to it.
Sometimes some people say things to me in Bhasa and I'm like, yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah.
That's our 6 tips on interracial marriage.
Secret recipe for interracial marriages.
Yeah, secret. Not so secret anymore. We just
Yeah,
spilled it
on YouTube.
on YouTube. So that's it.
So if you are an interracial couple and after this video you think you got some helpful tips and you're about to get married, please subscribe and drop a comment.
He just took over my YouTube channel. Yay! Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video. And as you said, subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you in our next Couple Confidential. Bye guys. Today is about Style Challenge. 3 looks that are inspired by Valentine's Day. Ta-da! So for my second look, ta-da!
Language barrier.
You gotta spit just now.
Okay.
Ew!
They'll cut it out.
It's time to shine. See? Come, go talk. Katanya di rumah mau ngomong.
What was the topic?